How are you there?
Lovely
Good.
to see the pair of you. I don't think I've done a duo so far, so I feel very fortunate.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Nice to see you.
It's so nice to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's really good of you to spend time actually to sort of share what your knowledge is and your experience with everyone. So thank you from me as well. So here we go. Starting off, so how did you guys become involved in rhythm?
That's a good question. We got in rhythm. I got in rhythm through music first. I think it came family background. But in rhythm, what is drumming? I discovered it back again music in Ibiza on a beach. In one of these full moon parties, and somebody gave me a djembe, and we ended up playing like all night. And from there on, it started getting into the rhythm of these drum circles. Then, more in the drum circle in rhythm, it was in the Master of Music Therapy with Pau Jimeno, who introduced the concept of drum circles. And that's my part.
In my case, when you ask us about this rhythm, maybe could be when I was in the tummy of my mother, the rhythm of the life, no? Is the first rhythm. But when I was very young, I went to the dance school, and in Barcelona we've got the classical the ballet school and as well the flamenco school. And I loved flamenco because I could make rhythm with my shoes. And it was the first time I realized that I love rhythm, just to make noise with my shoes. And afterwards I was studying music, but classical guitar, and really was when I studied with Oliver and Pau Jimeno. Pau Jimeno was our teacher in the Master of Music Therapy, and he shown us what is about drum circles. And it was not the first time, but the first, yes, my first approach to the drums in that sense, but in the healing way, as a healer.
How have you brought that knowledge of drum circles into the way that you work?
It's very interesting because drum circles is more than a circle and more than a drum or drums. It's overall about communication, about leadership, about listening, and about NLP. And we work with all these things in our job, no, in our and drum circles is a very interesting tool to work with about communication or leadership in companies. And we use this tool, the drum circles, just to
creating
wake up people.
To wake up.
To wake up people.
I think we live those learnings. It's like the teaching without teaching that we say, like through the different dynamics that we create or people create, we facilitate so that they happen. But then the awareness in those windows of communication where people realize that something is happening. What we create is make flourish this, and so people realize that we're working beyond the skin and the drum or the mullets, so that what Merces was saying about that respect and that communication through the vehicle that is music. That music can be the rhythm, the harmony, the melody, or the silence. So we are using all those different elements of music to deepen more in the different aspects. And then we use the different tools like music therapy, NLP, coaching, or classical training. But always I think we give a lot of framework so that people don't think, or to send that message that the people don't just get there, bang, and leave. So I think it's very important to frame what we are doing there. So we are here, and the objective is this one. We're going to work focusing on maybe that is leadership, or maybe is empowerment, or maybe is stress management. But frame it, then we do the dynamics. In the dynamics, there's windows of communication, and then there's a big wrap up so that people have insights or learnings. It's very good to have fun, but as we say is, which is your learning? What are you taking away? What are you going to implement in your life from now on that you've taken from this session? Because in these sessions, I think we give a lot in very short time. Maybe in a training that is 10 hours, we can do it in 2-3 with the impact that maybe is for life. But some people go out of the session like, wow, something has changed. And I think that's very powerful.
And then there's something else. Is about the big mantra, no? How to serve the circle, how to serve the community, and as a leader or as a person, how to do things simple. Keep it short and simple. No, and move of the way. There's some
Arthurian wisdom yeah.
is in our life, and is not only in our job as trainer in companies, but in our life we can implement.
Is what we say. You're not just a music therapist in the room. You have to be a music therapist or facilitator out of the room as well. which is hard work all the time, like having present all those values. So is a work.
The values of the drum circle are in and out the drum circle in our life.
Yeah. Absolutely, I get that. I'm just intrigued, Oliver, because you were talking very much from the corporate perspective, this framework, this holding and things like that. How do you kind of alter that when you work in a community, when you work in a community setting?
We used to work with companies, and thanks to that companies, we can work for free for communities, NOGs, to develop projects, to just build community, and it's thanks to all that companies that.
But I think it's more about the message. How do we give the message in community? You know, I understood.
I had a sense that everything was, and quite rightly, when you're working in the corporate world, it's framed, it's packaged, it's what they want you to deliver for them in a fun way, which enhances the learning capability. Yeah. I'm really interested also in how you kind of take that out of there and how you work in a community setting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think what we're working at and trying to make it better, because sometimes we used to do this in the community. Okay, we jump in, we have fun, we say a little bit of windows of communication, but I think we have to. I'm interested in setting an intention, a first intention when we get with the community, not just start drumming, or maybe we started, and when we have the intention, like, why are we here? Why is it so important that we are creating community? Why is it so important to listen to each other, to connect, to be together? I think it's very important. That framework would be like a turbo, you know, like super fast, because you've got those 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half. But those messages, I think, have to be very clear and very important to deliver. Yeah. That sense of being one. Another one is like, we are one, be one, in all that listening. And when we come from those individuals to the group, to that orchestra, or that something that is moving together. Because we can't be, sometimes in community we don't talk about different styles of leadership, or this we put it apart, because otherwise is why your social behavior, which one is your character of social behaviors, or things like this, we don't get so deep in it. But yeah, with the message of being one, of creating community, and how it can affect you. And so there's always a little wrap up as well about what are you taking in one word. This is the simple question, but deep question. But I think very much I'm interested in putting an intention that sometimes I don't do it, and afterwards I think, you should have started with an intention so people really put it. Maybe it's for the world, maybe it's for health, maybe it's to send energy to, for oneself or for the others. So I think it's very important, that part.
But that's true that usually in corporate drum circles, the circle goes to in a place. But when we work in community drum circles, at the end, the circle move to another place where the community, you can feel the connection in another way. It's very subtle. It's very difficult to explain how. It depends the setting, people, the intention. The same tool, drum circle as a tool, you can move emotions or feel or thinkings to another part, or we get those we don't we don't build these emotions, we just facilitate what it happened there, no? But what it happened is very different in the corporate world than in the community world.
And the program sometimes in drum circles for us is like a tool inside a program. So we don't just go there for drum circle, but it's a 12-hour program in which we use many tools of drum circles. Maybe it's with voice, maybe it's with hands, maybe it's with with drum circles or the sound trip, which are tools to keep on working specifically different concepts. So sometimes we go and we do the drum circle, but I think you can deepen the more time you can be with the teams or with that we go to.
So who were the major influences on you guys?
Okay, for us in drum circles, Pau and Arthur come like straight to mind. Merinish has been like as well another whopping
Meritolina
has been
Stevens, Ray Waters, al Stefano, al John Paul Diar, Jane Benley,
Santi Carcasona.
Santi Carcasona. Really, many people,
many teachers. It's been like we were very lucky, I think, to jump into this world and being able, Cameron, Tamal, Nelly, John Peter. We've been very lucky to be like.
This is because really, our masters are not only Arthur. It's not only Arthur. It's the master. Our masters are the colleagues, but also.
That have become friends, which we are very lucky.
but also many people that maybe is not very well known in the community, but wow.
And we've learned from each other, like with Jonas, and we've been sharing. The more you share your circles, you learn together. I think the masters have been the people that assist to your drum circles, and you're learning constantly.
Yes.
Like all that listening that is going on, and you think, wow, and I'm getting paid for doing this. And I'm learning so much about the people and about ourselves. It's like being blessed. And the big reference in drum circles for me is Arthur, which is like the big elf. And from then on, we've been very lucky to assist to Scotland and being with all the trainees and in different times, or the US over there presenting our work.
No,
Ben Flo and Ricardo.
Bueno, there's a wow.
And Helga, I don't know.
Sí. Basundra and Roberto. Bueno, there's a lot of people that maybe when they have jumped in the circle once or twice, we keep some details, no? And
the energy, then you make it yours. Now it's like
this is
What about kind of outside of the drum circle kind of community? What else have you taken on board that influences the work that you do inside the drum circle kind of area?
Well, for me, in the area of coaching is Vicente Oliver, which is the manager, one of the directors or the founders of Gestalt Institute in Barcelona. So super interesting because there's all related with tools of coaching and NLP, which we've studied.
For me too. Vicente Oliver.
Vicente Oliver is like, and next to Vicente Oliver is the same. It's like a pyramid, no, of people of Xavi Florenza, Antonio Ruiz. Yeah. Stephen Gilligan, no? If we go internationally, the people that you've been like with Trant and things like this. And if we go into Trant with Vicente Oliver, Sound and Training Formation, Peter Hess from Germany. So it's like it starts splitting out.
See, and then there's people that is important for me. Frida Kahlo, the painter,
Yep.
Vale, but Frida Kahlo is a name that I've never been a student of Frida Kahlo. From now on, we were talking about people who we have spent some time with, no? But there's other people. This is the example, no, of Frida Kahlo. Freedom, perseverance, how to follow your dream, how to work hard for your desires, or I mean, there's in addition other people, no, feminism. There's other people that in your life has impact, and maybe is these people you don't in the real life you never will have any contact because they are dead or because it's impossible, no?
Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible, but yeah, especially now. But really,
there's people that give you values that you see them. Lately we were talking about one phrase that was your actions speak so loud that I can't listen what you're saying. So is this type of people that I don't know if they have left a legacy with their own example. So it's like, whoa, when you can see it with time and perspective. I think Jordan Fitzgerald says that when you get the perspective, you can put the dots together.
Yes.
No? He's the man that puts the dots together.
And who connects the dots.
And who connects the dots. But you can see people with time, what they've done, and it's amazing to see. So we follow lots of different people, artists, or in the drum circle and outside, related with this issues, material or subjects.
It's an active process, isn't it? You're always absorbing, searching out, looking at, and trying to develop yourself and develop the work that you do. But I'm intrigued about who do you think you guys, or how do you think you guys have changed from when you started on this journey to where you are now?
Oh, wow.
In my case, I remember perfectly the first training with Arthur. I was really, 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 really shy. really, 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 really shy. It was really a self-work for me, how to show myself to the others. It was a deep work for myself, how to just jump into the circle and be looked by the others. It was something very uncomfortable for me, and I remember perfectly the sensation and how Arthur sometimes talks about people A and people B. Oliver is super A, I was super B. And thanks to like a shock therapy, no, to put myself in the center in lots and lots and lots drum circles, in many drum circles. At the end, I could get a bit of self-confidence, and I could offer to the circle where I am and my way, no, and I'm different. We got a complementary way of facilitating, but we are very different in the circle. And just to understand that I'm not Arthur, I'm not Oliver, I'm not Ray, I'm not Christine, I'm Merces. It was the click, no, just to be myself. And from the beginning it was like this in the circle, in the other and now things, hopefully for me, especially for me, something changed, no. I feel very self-confidence, no, in the center. Is not a problem to show myself. But it was in my case, it was I had to have a deep self-work, yeah, because
Merces, I'm really interested in something here. My daughter has done 2 6-day, and when she went to her very first one, and she's now 25, so she was 20, and when she very first went into the circle, and she said how difficult it was, and we had a long conversation, and she mentioned to me that being a man, I don't understand how difficult it is for a woman to make eye contact with people because of various issues and safety and things like that. And she found it really, really difficult to conquer this, making eye contact with people in the center of the circle. Did any of that kind of play out for you at all?
It was because we maybe it's about culture. We live in the Mediterranean area, and eye contact is not a problem. The problem was just to show my vulnerability.
Yeah.
How? Because for me, it was something new. On that time, I just to accept that I'm not perfect. It was a thing to work with me, no. The perfectionism. I only showed in the past things that I could do perfect from my thoughts, no. Actually, if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. I'm human, and there's not very big phrase from Arthur. There's not mistakes, only learning moments, and just that it changed my mind. Because in my case, just to show that I did mistakes in the circle, it was for my manera de ser,
my way of being,
bueno, something, you know.
Yeah.
What about you, Oliver?
How it changed? For me, it was like life-changing experience, I think. It's been 2014, and it seems like when you have a baby, you think it seems like it's been here for always. I feel like this, like only 6 years have passed of the first training, and it's been so intense, life-changing experience to change job, just focus on this, like put it all there, and being able to teach things that maybe you've done it in theory, but suddenly you can do it through music without being a music student. That I'm like it's by intuition, by listening, by So it's been like really life-changing for me, and I really enjoyed this, what Merces was saying, you know, there's no mistake, just learning moments. Like, I like controlling, although it doesn't seem, but suddenly no plan. It's like, what? It's like, what do you mean no plan? Just listen and see what comes is I think the all metaphors of life, that you can't just grab the things and think that you've got the way of doing. You have to open up. So it's like a way of self-development, so powerful, I think, that it really has changed my life since when I started. And every time I jump in the circle or I jump in front of people, I'm facilitating. Yeah. You know, it seems like, okay, I don't need drums anymore. It's like, although I love playing the music with drums, but all those concepts of facilitation are there. So it's all those resources and all that knowledge that you keep on learning, and every time you do the training, you learn more, and every time you expose yourself, showing your vulnerability, you keep on learning. So it's like a way of opening yourself. So it's been like something really great impact in my life.
What areas would you like to develop more in yourself?
Which areas? Like all? No, if we talk about the archetypes, like Mary talks and that she talks about that, I've been very much in the teacher mode. I like very much the entertainer. I've got the healer there that maybe I would like to deepen more with the healer that is then I've worked with and played with, but I would like to deepen it more. And I think maybe the healer I would like to deep more. Yeah, without the stereotypes that we were talking about, no? That you don't get just a flute or a drum or the monochord or the gongs and and maybe give more importance in that, because we are very much based on scientific research, so we are very interested in, okay, we play drums, but we know why we're doing it, or we know why we're putting a monochord in D or in C, or why are we are interested on the physical part, the emotional part. We try to do research as much as we can. So that is not like based, okay, you're doing music, you put in sense, very good. No, we're doing this because we're working on that aspect. Yeah. So maybe it's the healer with the scientific research behind. I would like to focus on.
What about yourself, Merces?
In my case, I'm feeling very healer in drum circles or in music therapy in general. Even when the drum circles are in corporate world, I feel that we are healing something between people. But actually, because I've got two works, I'm developing more the facilitating archetype, and not only with drums or thanks to drums. I'm facilitating a lot of teams and a small city through that, thanks to the tools that drum circles gave me. So I'm maybe developing more the facilitating mode, actually, because by myself, my feeling is I'm very healer. So just to develop more the facilitating.
So I'm interested in, if we could go back to when you first started on this journey, what is one thing that you wished you'd known now that you wish you'd known then?
Great question. What I would have known, like now.
No, that.
I think it has a process. I think it's the thing of. I think it's like life. You have to live it. Yeah, I can tell you, okay, when you are father, Ray, you're gonna be, and you will say, okay, yeah. But until you're not a father, you don't know what's behind. So I think in this process is the same. You won't. You have to live the process, and each one has its own rhythm. That's why I think we find so interesting the finding your rhythm. No, when we take it to the corporate world, we're talking about find the team rhythm. No, but first you have to find your own rhythm, and you only find your rhythm by walking step by step.
And for me, the big learning is just trust in you, no? Trust in yourself. That maybe at the beginning, the first training, I was talking about my shyness in the circle, no? Just in that moment, just to trust in me, that is the big learning I've done. No?
To trust, yeah.
Yeah, trust in yourself, trust the process.
See,
live
trust.
the process and live the process as well.
Yeah. I think
If
so,
I could tell my younger self that 25 years ago, I think I'd be in a better place as well. It's taken me 25, 30 years to realize that myself. So guys, what's the biggest challenge you've faced and how have you overcome it?
Which is the biggest challenge?
As a drum circles, facilitator?
Within kind of rhythm and drum circle facilitation, either, in your own process or something you've come across.
I think the challenges have been the new things, at least for me, is like, okay, can you do, I don't know, the new things, no? Okay, you've done a 20 people drum circle, okay. Shall we do a 50? Okay, so shall we do numbers, no? When you start with numbers and you say yes, and afterwards you say, wow, can you do 1,000? Okay, yeah, and it didn't come out, no? But you start thinking out of the box and challenges. And as well, depend with who you work. No, for example, we worked at the beginning with Stephen Gilligan in one of his trance camps, and he said, "Okay, you can get my group," because we were in touch with Alan Santos and Chuto Gutierrez that worked with Stephen Gilligan when he was coming here to Barcelona. Said, "You can get our group and go for it." And we were like, whoa, we just started. Things like this, and it's I think it's a great responsibility of honoring the tool that we are representing. That is not only, okay, let's do music, but it's the whole, I don't know, it's the legacy, like this dynasty, it's like that you honoring that. Let's see if we up to the level, no? And this is like a great responsibility.
And when every time it doesn't matter who ask for something that put our work out of the comfort zone is a big challenge. So sometimes it was or is, because now it's different. Now the big challenge is how to deal with online. For example, is a big challenge. Actually, is our challenge. But before, maybe it was numbers. In another occasion was
or sharing with somebody the circle that you really admire. It's like, wow, we're jumping in together. Whoa, it's like, yeah, you get nervous with that. So.
Bueno, the big challenge appears when the comfort zone is getting bigger and bigger, and then in my opinion, appears the challenge.
And that's where you get to know yourself more, because that's when everything flourishes, all the emotions and the fears and what's going to come out wrong, what is good, what is... So, yeah.
So drilling down into that, how do you overcome it?
At the end is I think it's walk in the path, but you really... breathe. At the end, we have to breathe.
and do you remember? Sometimes Arthur told, if someone phone you, the first thing is yes, and then you will think how to do that. No, just trust. No, it's the belief that you've got the resources and the tools, and you will you will ask also to the colleagues, hey, we are in a community, how I can solve this problem. We are not alone. We are in a community.
And the thing of focusing on it will be okay. We can focus on I'm gonna miss it all out, and we can stay in that state, or it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, and if we make a mistake, we learn from it. So it makes you cool down and not be in that rush and that sense of it's the end of the world. So I think it's just cooling down and think of the possibilities, and you'll do fine, and it will come out.
I think you kind of summed it up with your initial sentence, Oliver. Just breathe. Just breathe. Everything will be okay. Just breathe. So what one single piece of advice would you give someone who wanted to pursue a career similar to this?
For me, the words that come out is perseverance and enjoy. Enjoy, or maybe the other way around. Enjoy and perseverance. And keep on going and focus on what your passion is, and you'll find your way. Is like for me is focus. Focus on that and keep on going, and things will pop in. I don't know, it's like finding the clues that I like saying, that in life that suddenly, oh, look, there's another clue. So you keep on working, oh, there's another clue there. Okay. And being open to things that happen. For me, it's like...
For me, it's follow your dream. It doesn't matter if it's a small dream or is a big dream. If you follow the dream, for sure you will get something. Maybe not all the piece of the cake, but maybe one part, and it's okay. So just follow your dreams. Yes.
Fabulous. Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Guys, we're all very similar. And you touched on it before, we're a community and we support each other, and we all do very similar work, but we also do very different work in a similar area. What kind of makes you guys unique in what you do?
I don't know if I'm not. Can you repeat the question?
There's a sense that we're in a community, and we're very similar in the fact of what we do, but we do it all very differently. I'm wondering what makes you guys so unique in the way that you work.
Vale, okay. I think we co-facilitate.
Very well as well, by the way. It's a wonder to watch.
But the trick is that we co-facilitate not only in the circle. In the real life, we are couple, we are parents of three children, and we are co-facilitating every moment of our life. So
that for sure is unique.
When we are in the circle, well, just let go. No, we no sé. Is the thing.
I think it's this, because if we say, okay, we are the only ones that use it's not true. Coaching, or you know, there's so many like you and then like Jim Buno and that do their style, and mindfulness. Many people put mindfulness in their own way. I think everyone is unique in their own style, because there's no two facilitators that do the same thing with the same. You know, you can try to do Ray did this, you know, his style, you know. If I try to go in there and be Ray, it won't be me. So that's the difference. There's a part that we do long programs, and that's one of the things that caught my attention when I went in, and programs were called to 1 hour 1 hour is a program, or 2 hours is a program. For me, 1 hour is for me a program is 16 hours work, or with a team. For me, that was one of the things. Like, okay, in teams, let's use music and music therapy in this way. That was one of the things that when we started, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, we were like, music therapy in teams, in companies, that's long programs, what? 60 hours we were doing of emotional intelligence with the teams. It was like, what? and at that time we didn't find many people doing it, and now we've been adapting through time in our approach that now is called the Music Training Lab. But uniqueness, I don't know, is like...
Bueno, really... No, tell.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think you've got it spot on in your answer there, Oliver, to be honest. I think that's your uniqueness. Not just the co-facilitation, but all the other skills that you bring on board, and the fact you condense a lot of this stuff into kind of like a short time, and all that experience you bring into it, both from for both of you, both for being parents, being a couple, being adults, and the inner child as well, and bringing all that into it as well. I think that's the uniqueness that you guys bring into it. That's from my perspective, anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm intrigued in that, and I'll ask you this one as well. There's a huge amount of research, and you guys are obviously very research-based as well as very practically based. There's a huge amount of research out there about the benefits of drumming, the benefits of rhythm, and I'm wondering, from your own perspective and your own experience, whether you could share any examples of you actually physically seeing this happen in front of you.
Wow. Yeah.
In here we will mix our part of as a music therapist and as facilitators, but really for me is, even now after a long time, when people do and they are drumming or playing music in community. It doesn't matter if it's in a company or in a community drum circle, and something happened in that person meanwhile he is drumming, that, and you can realize it because the skin, the color of the skin changed, the smile, the eyes, something happened, and for me is, wow, there's something very power in music that it's able to transform people without words, and it's how music transforms people, not in a big way, in a big sense, but bueno, is the part that touch myself. No, I realize very often the limits. People, when people has realized that there's not limits for himself, meanwhile he's drumming.
What's it like being a witness to that?
What's it like being a witness? Come è un testimone, diciamo?
Well, in my case, I'm moved by, because when I watch that, I'm understanding that something is happening inside that person. I don't know what, but something is happened, and it's okay. Especially when it's in a fantastic way, in a happy mood. No, even when it's in the sadness. No, when people is very inside, how to be next to that people after the circle, to talk, to be with, and what happened there, what make you being so deep in yourself.
I think
you, Oliver.
to witness this, I think, is a privilege. It's like being a channel, no, of being able to this. I think it's very powerful, just not in the ego building that goes like, whoa, I try to get that ego out and thinking, okay, we're channelizing this between all. I think it's amazing. At the end of the circles, when people express themselves as well, you can see what Merces said about, you can see the different color of the skin, you can see the eyes bright, you can see people relating in a different way. But afterwards, what they say is very significant. I think is like relieved. If it's in one word, is happiness, is relieved, is relaxed, is out of the, there's all these words that you can see that are according to what they're feeling. A part of all the research that there is from Remo, part of all the research. I don't know, remember we studied stress, and we were doing in programs at the beginning a few items and at the end the same items, and one of the items was stress. And we deduced that we presented this in the Cadiz, in the Congress of Music Therapy, and we realized that after working with huge population, well, not huge, but with a population of companies and people, that stress at the beginning of the programs and at the end reduced 53%, no? And it was like, wow, this is significant. But you see that people are having, something has happened inside. And I think to witness this creative and transformative community process is a privilege to be there and be able to witness it. It's like, and it has a healing power. We can talk about many aspects of the influence of music and the emotional and the social and the physical, transcendental parts of the human being, and how it affects is amazing. It happens. You can't. It's like what we say, it's like smell. When you walking down the street and you smell, suddenly you go to the house of your great grandmother that she was cooking. You can't say, okay, no, I'm not going there. With music, it happens the same. There's a melody that it goes in the drum circle, and everybody ends up singing, and you're like, whoa, you go there. You can't just avoid it. There's no filters with music.
No,
so
absolutely.
It takes you.
Awesome. Guys, is there a particular client that has changed or influenced your practice?
Client? Specific or in general?
I mean, yeah, let's go specific without kind of naming names or companies, but a particular kind of client that's made you focus and change the way you have practiced.
I don't know. The different clients, because we've been moving like in education, with kids, we've done adults, we've done corporate, with community. The barricades are the streets, so it's like and corporate want sometimes not so much as a community drum circle, but they want a success experience, so for the teams and things like this. I don't know. I feel very grateful with all circles, but especially those that we are serving to the community for NGOs, and you fill up the bucket with with money to give, and I don't know.
In my case, I was working with drum circles and music therapy approach in the school I was working the last 20 years before now. And during 10 years, I was implementing music therapy and the drum circles since I have learned about drum circles. And for me, the way maybe that clients, the students with very deep special needs, maybe they have changed myself the way to work with all that tools. I always am telling drum circle, my reflection to drum circle is as a tool. Is a tool to go to another part. For me, to build community, to work communication, leadership, or just to work with music therapy objective with a group, no? In that client, the very deep special needs, changed my way to think about the drum circles.
Yeah, I think the clients maybe in drum circles there's this septic people that come and don't believe at all in that they come in like this, or somebody's pulling of them, and even if it's kids or even if it's adults. Or I like this shift when that person comes out like, what has just happened? You know, that really big shift of, no, what am we doing? We're wasting time. To, can I take a drum with me? You know, can I? Oh, I think I'm gonna get a drum. You know, it's like there's been an amazing shift here I think in values and beliefs in that person. So it sometimes is with kids, sometimes it's with adults, sometimes it's with carers, sometimes with teachers, or in higher level corporate trainings. I don't know. It's about people. It's about that person that that dart goes there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's about people. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So, guys, how when you work with all your variety of groups, how do you create a safe space?
How do you create a safe space?
Listening, watching, and when you think that you are a facilitator and you are serving the others, the safety space, no, is when you are your attention is in the others, not in you, just to make the others be very comfortable in that place, in all the senses, not only physic, no, a chair, but always in the atmosphere, the feelings, or what is happening there, just to be very open in all the senses.
Yeah.
I think
it's calibrating very much the group, the place, and there goes the setting and adapting to with who you are working with. So if it's kids in a way, dress code in ways of speaking, or if it's with corporate another way. So but I think this making safe space and and going very slowly. I think at the beginning we need to start and let people sink in, like slowly, and don't think that you will have to play, you will have to dance, you will have to sing. It's like
creating platforms. Platforms. And we work with platforms, and always is appearing the metaphors of the drum circles, working in platforms, serving the group.
There's no mistakes.
There's not mistakes.
Fun.
Keep it short and simple.
No wrong notes.
No wrong notes.
It's all good. So it's no wrong notes. So this, I think, creates a safe space, because if they say, okay, there's no wrong notes, great. I don't have to play. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to. Okay, so we don't. And at the end, everybody jumps in, because everybody can clap, and once you're clapping, clap with the other person. So we already. So everybody jumps in at the end. So it's creating the space, with all these messages at the beginning, creating a nice setting, creating that people feel comfortable, I think.
Yeah, I love what Merces was saying about the fact that it's beyond the physical, it's the emotional, it's you reading what's going on, and you being present, using all those kind of skills and senses. I tend to think, from my perspective, regardless of your training and your experiences, your ability to create safe space is probably the most important thing that we can take in there with us.
Yeah.
Both from a physical and an emotional perspective. You can have all the skills that you want, you can have all the experience you want, but, and this is me talking, the inability to create a safe space, it just doesn't work. Then it just doesn't work. So what do you guys find yourself focusing on during a session? Is it kind of the experience of the group, the music, the rhythm, the experiences of individuals, participation? What do you find yourself using your radar for?
In my case, just let go and follow the people that are following you. And
He's listening with all the
Arthur always in the room.
Arthur's present, Arthur's present. Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom there. There's a lot of wisdom. So it's like amazing how all this has been, how he has impact, but not just by his being. No, is that these teachings are so powerful in these senses. Because when you jump in the circle, you have to be with all that. And we can talk about rhythm, or we can talk about listening, or we can talk about NLP, no? Like the radars and the listening and the smell and the eyes. But all this is in the teaching that Arthur has given us.
Yeah.
And this readability comes through this, I think, at the moment. That moment is, what is the group bringing to us? More than us to the group.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So yeah.
But that sense also has a facilitator that it's a full-time kind of full-on experience where you're in there. You're consistently switched on, you're consistently open, and you're creating space, and you're looking at everyone's individual experience, you're looking at the group experience, you're listening for the music, you're listening for the rhythm, you're making sure everyone's able to take part. You're just literally, it's like, I don't know, for me, and I'll speak from my perspective, for an hour community circle, we come to the end of it and I am wrung out. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Because you're consistently doing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's very crazy because we are very exhausted physically and mentally, but also with a lot of energy. Woo! You know,
super high.
Yes, a lot of adrenaline. We've got and we cannot sleep, and we are like
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's the paradox. We are exhausted, but also very active.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, if we go into research again, it's like how the brain is working at that time. There's a lot of letting go, that part, of that conscious part, and just flowing with the moment. So I think it's very interesting because we're creating those connections with neuroplasticity. Is we're creating everything to happen, not with us, with the rest of the group, through creativity, through music, through movement. Yeah, so we are there connected, and the part of the channeling and moving all that energy, I think, is the part that is so exhausting. Like, woof, all that happened, and it's amazing, all that energy that is happening with the group, even if it's 10 or if it's 300 or 500, whatever. But it's all that energy going on. Yeah.
Many times, Oliver, we live by the sea. Oliver goes to the sea and jump.
I swim. I have to cool down. It's like if I finished the party at 7 in the morning when I used to party long. And I feel the same, like I feel like I just closed the club and let's go somewhere. I feel like this, I have to cool down. I'm always trying to go to the sea and just have a swim and really connect again, because I'm really high. I feel like super pumped up with energy, yeah.
No, absolutely. So how do you guys kind of vary your reading of the energy of the group? What skills do you use to read this kind of energy?
When even if we are not co-facilitating in the middle, when we are working both in the same circle, the one who is not inside is reading the circle. Yeah. And we talk each other.
We look,
and we
go.
And always, who is playing, sitting down, no, is calibrating, and if who is leading the circle from the middle. maybe is not reading very well the energy, or we are
Yes, like you read the circle, you read about yourself and with who you're co-facilitating, which is like another challenge, I think. With us, we know each other, I think, quite well.
I would hope so.
Yeah, we're getting there. We have a so, but yeah, it's a challenge. And one of the challenges you said before, what is a challenge? To let the group play, for me, is the challenge. To let them play, not wanting to jump in constantly and do the magic trick. Okay, let's do the trick. Now, just waiting, and for me that's I'm trying to empower more and more in every circle. There's like, let them play, let them go down, see what happens with you when they're like, oh, I should jump and do the turn. Let them play, and I find it difficult.
That is one of my biggest struggles as well. Is I tend, and I've shared this in all the other interviews, is from my perspective, is these people are paying, I should perhaps do something, and I'm consistently having this internal battle saying, no, let them play. Let them play, let them make music. You don't have to go in there and go chop 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 chop.
Yes.
Stuff. It really is a challenge, because some people pay big money for you to do this kind of stuff. So I do feel that kind of pressure that I have to, give them value for money.
Yeah, true, absolutely.
And it's probably one of my biggest struggles.
Yeah, I think so. When I was saying before, in the corporate world, they want success, is because we have timed the circle. So we go in, we do pop, 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 then we're going to do this, that, pim, pam, then we're going to stop, and they want to end up here. They can't end up down, they have to end up here.
Yeah.
And that's 40 minutes, that's 30 minutes, or that's 1 hour. So, or 1 hour and a half, or whatever, no, or 4 hours because it's longer. But they want success. They don't want... And that, I think, is what you learn on the path as well, that you've done circles, that they weren't a success. that you end up saying, oh, this wasn't good, and that was that was a very big client, and you didn't nail it.
Yeah. Because
there's many reasons, no? Maybe they thought they were going to do batucada. And you end up there doing a drum circle, and what? We thought it was batucada, no.
And you have to deal with that. You have to deal with that expectation.
Yes. And many other more on mistakes, no? Like, I didn't know how to do this drum circle. It didn't work. I didn't have shields to work. And that's how you learn, making big mistakes.
Okay, guys, we're coming to our last question. So, and this is probably one of my favorite ones. When you kind of finish in your workshop and the chairs are cleared away, all the drums and the percussion are in the van, the doors are shut, you get in the van and you turn the ignition, what do you hope you've left behind with the people that you were working with?
For me, happiness. Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
For me, it's like a glass of water that is plenty of energy, but good energy. Usually is, and there's something that maybe we are mute. We don't talk because we need to process all what happened there before talk about what it happened in the workshop, in the program, in the event. But many times it's like a glass of water, plenty of something, energy or images or
yeah. It's very, very intense. What we left behind is I think it's work well done, no? When you finish and you end up and you're satisfied what just happened, and this energy going on in the glass, I think it's satisfaction, not just for us, for them as well, that they've come up with that. Wow, no,
especially when you realize the group starts in one way and they has ending or has end in another way.
Yeah.
And when it happen often. Wow.
Yeah. Guys, we've come to the end.
So
Listen,
far.
from me, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share what's going on and sharing your ideas, your experience, your knowledge, and just being you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray, because this is
Been honored to be in your channel.
wow. And it's a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Always it's a pleasure being with you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Soon we'll be together. Soon.
Soon.
Soon. One day.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.